Yo, what's going on, everybody? Black Compass Media back live with another one, man. Shout out to the people that's out here right now that are going to hear this. Everybody that's in the society, all people interested in battle rap and those types of things. What we do here is we're covering the road to Summer Madness. Not Summer Madness, Ultimate Madness. What am I doing? Ultimate Madness, the 16-man tournament with some of the best MCs from across the country competing. And that runs parallel into what I'm doing with a lot of the guys who are up and coming and putting in that work. This has been a highly requested interview. Highly requested. So shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to A-Hat. Shout out to Seattle. Specifically Federal Way. Jey the NiteWing.
Thank you for specifying Federal Way. I'm very much appreciative of that.
See, I like specificity. Specificity in battle rap is important. You know, it's an important quality, I think, for anybody who covers it, anybody who follows it. Before anything, Jey, I have to ask, man, in these difficult, trying times, how are you holding up, brother?
Man, one day at a time, man. Like a lot of the challenges I face on a day-to-day basis is really just like being able to remain like adjustable. Like, certain things are just changing constantly and consistently. Like I just got to be like, loose on my feet. So, yep.
Right.
It's just it's just a matter of taking the hits as they come, man.
And are you out there currently in Washington? And let me know about, because I need to understand, that part of the world. Because to me, in my East Coast brain, I know what California looks like. I know what Nevada looks like. Everything else is just squares. And then you go all the way like to Texas. I know what that looks like, and then Florida, and then I know what up the rest of the country kind of looks like from there, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea about Washington. So you're there now, and walk me through Federal Way, because that's not Seattle. I was corrected and killed up here for saying that he was from Seattle. They'd kill me. So, yeah. So walk me through that, like Federal Way. Like, what is that all about? Where, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like? I need to understand that.
Man, Federal Way pretty much looks like, it looks like one of those outer cities. Like, it's like one of those suburban kind of like outskirts of a major city. And it's kind of in between two major cities. Tacoma is another big one out here in Washington, like with a metropolitan kind of scene and whatnot. So Federal Way is kind of like in between those, and it's one of those areas where like you get the best bang for your buck as far as like real estate and like living situations goes. Like, so a lot of people like live here if they're like either just getting out of the projects or like trying to stay out of the projects and like not necessarily trying to live in the city.
Right.
So this area pretty much is like, it's kind of regular. There's not too much going on. It's kind of quiet. And I'd say the biggest thing to it is like the nature. Like it's a lot of fucking woods out here. Pine trees, like fucking tall as fuck. Like as tall as like 3-story buildings.
Right.
And I wouldn't necessarily say it's like Oregon, because Oregon got them big ass trees, them type of trees that like them Paul Bunyan shits, them shits look, bro. Like I was on a fucking road trip like last year for my mom's birthday and shit, and we was on a road trip through Oregon, bro. I fell asleep in Portland, like my lady was driving. I woke up, it's fucking dark. There's trees like so fucking big I can't see the top of them. It's random ass houses in the dark with the lights dim and shit. This shit looks like a fucking Wrong Turn movie, boy. Like I was scared, bro. Like I was like, whoa, where the fuck we at? Like nah, like I was not having it. I was stressing the fuck out, man.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, because the thing is that the reason why I like to know where people are from. I like to know backstories, and I'm specifically interested, the whole Samoan heritage. I've heard you drop Uso and all that in some of the rhymes and things like that. Shout out to the Samoans and things, but. How did so Jey the NiteWing? Were you born over there and then kind of move this way, but what is the lineage? Kind of what? Give us the backstory of how you make it over to Federal Way.
So basically, my mom's she comes from Samoa, which is an island way out in the Pacific, and it's kind of just on its own. There's two Samoas. There's American Samoa, that's the territory that the U.S. owns, and then there's Western Samoa, which is pretty much its own country. But like they're both small as shit. Like they're both about as big as fucking one of our states.
Yeah.
And not one of the bigger ones neither. Like the shit's hella small. And so my mom's came out here through the military, and she basically made us like first generation like Americans. Like so bouncing around like a lot ended up landing us like in Federal Way because of opportunities that she was chasing. And I'd say the Samoan heritage, like the Samoan culture, like if I had to sum it up in a nutshell, it's basically like there's two versions of it. There's like the Americanized version of it, and that can kind of like depend because a lot of us Samoans are on the West Coast, so a lot of us were kind of raised in environments with blacks and Mexicans, and like we kind of like our cultures kind of like mend, they kind of get welded together. But the main things that like separate Samoan culture from anyone else is pretty much like like because it's not even like a lot of people like attribute it to like being Hawaiian and whatnot. And yeah, it's under the same umbrella, but it's kind of like the difference between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. Like there's yeah, we both speak in the same language, but like it's not like the same kind of, I don't know how to put it. Like it's just a different kind of vernacular with the same thing.
Okay.
But like the main things that like for me being black and Samoan, I'd say my experience as such it would almost seem like if you was to look at Samoan culture and you was to look at black culture and then you look at me, I'm like kind of my own culture, like by itself. Like I have my own kind of identity almost, because like there's experiences that I've gone that like most black people and most Samoans wouldn't go through, because like there's a certain niche that you fit in, and there's other certain niches that you don't necessarily fit into. The way I identify is like, because I've been black and Samoan for 30 years now.
Right.
So the way I kind of tend to look at it is I'm both, and at the same time, like I'm neither. Like it's just the only way. It's just the best way that I can like sum it up.
Right.
Is because like when it comes to black culture, there's nothing really that I can say I'm not like exposed to, and it's the same for Samoan culture. But with Samoans, it's more like, I kind of got put into an environment where like I really learned the Samoan culture. Like when I was 13, my pops, they got divorced, and like my mom decided then to like further her education, so she needed my grams to like watch us in order for her to do so, in order for her to pursue that. So Grams was living back in the Rock though, so I stayed like on the islands for 2 years, and man, I'll tell you, being the only black kid in school, it came with its trials and tribulations.
I bet. So
yeah, man.
But so I mean, does it as a Samoan, I mean, I guess for that side of the family, when you make your way over here and you see the things that a lot of black people are exposed to and the culture and things like that, did your family immediately commiserate with black people or relate themselves that way, or is it sort of a thing where you need to maintain that separation? Is like being Samoan is itself something distinctive, or do you say, you know what, I'm still black at the end of the day, and we kind of fall under this Pan-African umbrella? Like how does that shape up in your family?
Yeah, I was gonna say like for every family it's kind of different. I can only speak for my own, and my mother, I feel like, really identified with the black struggle a lot when she came, because the peers that she had while she was trying to like establish herself out here in this new environment was mainly black women. So like all her best friends, all the people, her support system out here, like, cause support at home is just like, her mom, but that's just via phone. Like when she's dealing with shit like out here, like there's no family out here. She's like the first to come out here and establish herself out here.
Right.
So so like the people that she related to the most, like with her trials, was black people, like with black women specifically. And so with me growing up, like it was kind of like I was getting an education on both cultures, like kind of simultaneously. So it was kind of something I didn't really recognize a difference in until there was like a really distinct environment where like I was very different. You know what I mean? Like, cause out here, everybody's fucking different. It's America. Like everybody's, you're Mexican, Chinese, white, like, unless you're in one of those areas where like, you know what I mean? Like it's just white and black. It's like one of those things that like it kind of just goes unnoticed, as a kid. But when you're in Samoa, it's nothing but Samoans and Koreans or Filipinos. Like, so when you're the only black person, that's when people really point out the differences that you have with the culture. And I would say like it wasn't really like hate based as far as like the differences that people will point out with me. It was just more ignorance, like, you know what I mean? Like they ain't never seen a black person before. Like I was probably the first and the last black person they'll ever see. So it was like kind of, like you kind of get what you expected. I wasn't like getting crosses burned in my yard or none of that shit. Like it was just kind of like, oh, you black, so you must know how to fight. Like, shit like that. Like,
and then the black people were like, well, he's Samoan. This nigga's crazy. Stay away from him.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then, from black people, I would still get, like, a sense, like, since I'm bigger than most black people, like, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I ain't fucking with that dude. But in a sense, it's still, like, the same kind of, like, unfamiliarity that the Samoans had. And it's kind of, that's what kind of, like, has me identifying as both solidified and at the same time I'm kind of my own. Like my culture is kind of by itself. Like I can relate probably the most with other like mixed people, like black and Samoans, maybe white and black. I'm not too familiar with their I'm not too familiar with their backgrounds and their struggles, but like because it's not like we come together or nothing like that. We just most black and white people, like as far as I know, they just identify as black.
Right.
So it's just kind of something that I think they all might be able to relate to in a similar sense. So
I think see, stuff like this for me as background is important because I think now that you explain being sort of in this cultural purgatory, I understand now the eclectic rhymes, the look, the way that you approach battling. I think that the life story sort of factors into that for every battler. That's why I like to dig into that.
Oh, absolutely.
So young Jey the NiteWing, first generation American, growing up in probably a slightly racist environment with all the bullshit going on. And you hinted that you're in the 30 Club. Shout out to people that's in that realm. Now, so you came of age in that late 90s, early 2000s era. I want to know what Jey the NiteWing was listening to and what influenced them to rap or at least just be a part of this hip hop thing. Like what grew that love and, where does that foundation come from? So what were you listening to early on? I want early memories of hip hop.
Shit. My first exposure to hip hop was when my uncle came from Samoa. He was bumping NWA and Tupac. And so my first exposure to hip hop was Tupac's California Love. And like it was just something I liked. It wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to like indulge in. Like I was just kind of like, yo, this is dope. Like I don't know what the fuck he's talking about because I'm too young to put the shit together. But I like how he's saying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I think what really got me into like wanting to rap was fucking the Nas and Jay-Z beef. I mean, because
That
my
is
uncle
a
was,
big moment for
yeah,
people our age. When that beef pops, see, some of
yeah,
y'all niggas that's 21. Listen, I'm sorry, hip hop has been trash for most of your life. I get it, but for us, that 98 to like 2003 situation was crazy, and that was one of the
man.
highlights, right? So Jay and Nas, I want to get let's go back. So was it because when Ether dropped that changed everything? But even before that, like the little tension started to rise. But what was it about that? It was like, oh nah, I gotta be a part of this shit.
It was kind of what I was like, what I was exposed to. Like I was just, fucking Nas had that one song, "Got Yourself a Gun" and shit,
Fire.
and I was like, yo, that shit's fire. Like Nas is fucking fire. And then Jay-Z was kind of boring to me. I wasn't really fucking with
You
Hove.
was a
Like,
Hove guy.
yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't really a Hove guy. But
Right.
my uncle was big on Hove. He was like, man, you're not listening. That's why you're not fucking with him. You're too young. You don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't see it, man. Like, I just don't see it. And he was like, and so he let me listen to Ether. And I'm like, yo, he's killing Hove right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? He's killing Hove. But then he
Yeah.
let me listen to Takeover. And he was
Mm.
like, you got to understand how difficult it is to rap the way Hove is rapping right now and
Mm.
be able to like, because Nas is just tackling him. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you in a fight and you fighting a whole bunch of other people at the same time, like, but my logic was different on it. Like I was like, if you try, like Nas did what he was supposed to do. He's attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, nah, that ain't. But see, Hove is like multifaceted. He can do all types of shit. And you see
Mm.
the way he's rapping right now, right? You see the way he's rapping, like take over, the break's over, nigga. God MC, me, Jay. What's it making you do? It's making you nod your head. How many
Yeah.
times you nod your head during Ether? So that's what I'm saying. Like
Mm.
Hove was able to do that and make a fucking hit at the same fucking time while he's dissing half of the fucking industry. I'm like, all right, man, me and my uncle like fucking bickered about this shit for a good 2 years. Just going back and forth about this shit. And
Oh
like,
man.
yeah, like this shit, that shit had me like, that like kind of raised my IQ with how lyrics are kind of like formed.
Mm.
And then battle rap, as far as battle rap goes,
Mm-hmm.
that nigga that nigga Jin was probably the one that had me like watching battle rap, like,
Right.
because there was those freestyle Fridays, but I didn't really give a shit. It
Yeah.
wasn't until Jin. I'm looking at an Asian dude killing motherfuckers week by week. I'm like, what the
Killing
fuck
them.
is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, he's getting them the fuck out of here. But when Sirius Jones,
Oh, bruh.
when that shit
Bruh.
happened, I was like, dog.
Bruh.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so you was playing with the right ones, but nah, when you take it to the hood, nah,
Right. Right.
you ain't getting away with it like
And
that.
they shine that bright light on you, and Jones took him to the lunchroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you gonna get these
Yo,
jokes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, me and every kid at school was wilding over that shit, bro.
Right.
Like we was like on the Sirius Jones bandwagon. I remember being super hyped for Murder Mook and Sirius Jones, and then like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. By the time that battle got finished, bro, like I was a battle rap fan,
You was a
solidified.
fan.
Like,
You was
yeah,
already in intact.
yeah,
Now let's get into the transition from being a fan. Now I was picking up them DVDs too. At the time I was in college, so I had to run back to the hood, go get a haircut. I grab a DVD. That's what a nigga do. Grab a DVD, say hi to my mom, steal a plate or two, and then take my broke ass back to college. That's what I did. Now, so I was buying all of that, but I want to know the transition from, saying, I'm a fan of this shit to, you know what? I could do this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Lux,
So,
yeah.
what happened? It like, was it a homie said he could rap, man. Let me go get Jay, man. Jay can rap too. So what's up? I need to know that setup when them teenage years, them formidable years where
hmm
Jay steps up and grabs the mic for the first time.
So I used to freestyle like battle all the damn time, and the thing that got me into doing that was Lil Wayne. When Lil Wayne started like really taking off and like kind of just making it look easy, the way he was coming up with metaphors. I was smoking weed all the damn time, and I was thinking of like the same. I was like kind of on that wavelength where like I could like rap about the type of shit he would rap about, and I would just battle niggas at school for like 20, $40 or whatnot. Like if we wasn't shooting craps, we was battling, and like I got to a point where I felt like real confident about the shit. But then I kind of put it down like after graduating. I was just like, nah, this shit. I'd rather just be a fan. I'll let niggas do that other shit. Like I'm cool on that. But it wasn't until Loaded Lux versus Calico where I was like Lux said so much shit, it like changed the way I looked at bars and the way I looked at writing, to where I was like, yo, I gotta say this shit to somebody. Somebody's son gotta die. Like, like I got too much. He inspired too much out of me, to where I was like, yeah, like I gotta stand in front of somebody with this.
That performance does transcend battle rap in a way, and I seen it very. I gotta get the actual article for people, but there's a really good write up about this. I think the Griot did a write up about what he's saying, how Calico's reaction to it is, and what the fans are doing, quietly listening to this dude give this crazy diatribe, breaking down this man's life and relating it to all these different things. I think before that, we had never seen that on a massive scale like that before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like, articulately done.
Right. Not many curses at all. Right? Like not even really disrespecting him in a way that's like up front door, but it's digging into something a little bit deeper. So that was like, what? It's more than just bars at this point. Was that how it was for you?
It was that. It was like how creatively he put it all together. And it was also like how he was using words, like his rhetoric and the way he like transitioned. And like it was the whole package for me. Like I felt like I was watching an alien who was like from the future do this little thing we call battle rap. And it was like, yeah, like he was taking it and just like completely like ingeniously like altering it. And it was too much for me to like just stay just a fan. Like I had to stand in front of somebody. Like it was yeah.
Right, and I think that was that really opened the door to a lot of like writers, right? I think all the writers' antennas went up when we saw Lux with them 3 rounds against Miles, and then we saw what Lux did against Calico. It was like, all right, this is something different. You know what I'm saying? So
I came to it late. I came to Lux and Calico late. Like like I had kind of stepped like after the grind time era. I kind of stepped back from battle rap because I was like, this shit kind of going in a direction that's kind of weird. Like,
what you mean? I
don't know. I just wasn't too much of a fan of like Awkwards was the big name.
Yeah.
And I was never a fan of Awkwards. And I was like I'm cool off of this shit. It's backpackers that, ain't from that life kind of taking this shit over and, talking about shit they ain't really about. And I'm like, like I'm cool on this. Like it started turning into some shit that I wasn't really for. But this is still me like being a battle rap fan completely outside. Like I hadn't attended one event. I hadn't, reached out to anybody else who was battle rap fans other than my inner circle already. You know what I mean? So it was like literally like just me with my own opinions and no experience. You know what I mean? But when I decided to step back in it was when ASAP Ferg and ASAP Rocky, they had this one song. I forget what it's called.
That's a crazy name drop before this, but just so you...
yeah.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead, yeah. ASAP.
But like, they... And ASAP Rocky said in his line, he was like, Loaded Lux, put in work. And I was like, Loaded Lux? Like I definitely knew that name. I was like, I ain't heard that from that nigga in a minute. Did he drop something new or something? Like, because I didn't get the reference, like, put in work. I was like, what? And then fucking do a little YouTube search, Loaded Lux versus Calico. Bro, my mind was blown. I was like, God This nigga came back with a vengeance, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
all right, so then we got the love of battle rap and things like that. Now, when you start to compete, early days, we see you at AHAT,
Yeah,
Washington, four MCs by MCs. That's kind of a dope name for a league, by the way. But we see you
yeah,
early on in that situation. Now, and you kind of hit the ground running. I mean, the thing about you, and I find this out about other people too, is that when you really look at people's history, you've been around for a little bit, right? You was able to get some nice names before you even reached the stage and all that. So walk us through
yeah.
the A-Hat situation, kind of how you got hooked up with them and what you learned from that. Because them small leagues is what builds a lot of them scars, a lot of that, that them war wounds that you come in with as you climb the ladder. So walk us through that though. Like how was
Yeah,
it at A-Hat?
absolutely. It definitely raised a lot of temperament. I would say so. 2014, like this is like around that time where like I watched Lux, got inspired and all that. And but locally, I had no idea where I was supposed to go. Like I didn't know if there was like Facebook pages or some shit. Like none of that. But like I'm still like hanging out with the homies, and we go to this bar, and then one of the homies is like, "Hey yo, you was talking about you want a battle rap, right?" And I was like, "Yeah,"
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "That's the homie Hypnosis over there," and Hypnosis, he from West Side, like we from the Fed, like
Mm.
so we ain't really like there ain't no beef or nothing like that, but it's like there's no familiarity,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't just walk up on the nigga like, but I was like trying to kind of find a way to like make it seem like hey, I come in peace. I'm actually just not on no hood shit. I'm just trying to see like if you got any advice on how I can get started with like a
Mm.
league. And he was like, "Oh, got you." He hit up Rome, ran the AHAT Washington League out here,
Okay.
and he hit up Rome the same fucking night and was like, "Yeah, you said you booked in July." And I was like, "Shit, I appreciate it, man." And then
Oh shit.
yeah, like the roller coaster just started from that. Like
Mm.
my first battle, like I beat the guy, but I was trash, bro. Like
You was trying.
honestly,
Okay, I like the
bro,
honesty. I like early assessments of work. But yeah,
man.
what was
I mean,
trash
yeah,
about
I
early
beat the guy.
J?
I was trying too hard to be like Lux. I was trying to
Mm.
sound like Lux. I was trying to structure my words like him, but you know, when you look at me, I'm not Lux. Like the way I talk regularly is not like Lux. Like I
Right.
was trying too hard to be Lux. And it took like a good like the whole first year, I want to say, for me to like shake that and kind of come back to like who I was. And I'd say that's when I kind of started picking up momentum and a fan base out here locally. Like I started being able to contend with the local heavyweights after like the first year. But then it started becoming like now you gotta compete on a level that is not just as good as the heavyweights out here, but the heavyweights in your region, like the whole West Coast. And how do you get that done? And that took a lot of travel. It took a lot of like battling in front of crowds that I'm not used to. It took a lot of like adjustment pretty much.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I started battling bigger names that really like saw when I battled Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I battled Chilla Jones in I think 2017. When I battled him, he showed me the difference. He showed me like because I was at a level where I felt like I was good, like I was a good battle rapper, but he showed me what it took to be a great one
Mm.
because I was like rapping in his ear, like trying to like just bark on him. But the way he like just started his round slowly and like let the crowd settle down and then just project. Like he didn't have to really out rap me. He just projected better and he had a confidence about him, a
Mm.
aura about him that was demanding, that was commanding of the crowd.
Right.
And in that moment when I saw that, it was like not only on me what it takes, but there's nothing I can do at this moment. I'm losing this battle.
Mm.
Like that's it. There is no way I can beat this because I was not prepared for this. I've never seen this, so like in a sense, like I was never gonna win.
You know that to me as from outside looking in, knowing that I can't do this, that always struck me as crazy when battlers was like, yo, I battled Chilla, because Chilla one of them dudes, right? Chilla, DNA, YK. You pay him a nice little bag, they gonna come to your town and fuck you up. Now,
that's a fact.
I've heard from so many people that was like, I stood and I realized in the middle of his round that I was gonna lose the battle 3-0. And that feeling has to be just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't got nothing for this. And it's not even like he doing nothing crazy. He just Hitman, like, on some, I ain't even said nothing yet, already teaching a little nigga how to control the crowd. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you do for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that helped build your confidence to the point where your ass got on stage and was like, you motherfuckers say I rap too slow, huh?
Absolutely.
I get it now.
once I like seen him do it, like, I realized I was going to get 30, but I also understood how insignificant me getting 30 tonight meant as far as like the trajectory of where I'm going now. Like, it was even more exciting. And like, for like a good 6 months after that, I was in Chilla's inbox like, yo, I really appreciate it, bro. Like, all the success that I'm about to see in the near future, I got to attribute it to you. Because if you didn't show me, bro, like, I'd probably still be playing with the same hamster wheel, you know what I mean? Still, trying to pay these small leagues to have me on their format and all that shit. Like, but like that's the thing that I think separated me from like the rest of the flock is like I was paying attention and I was like really trying to find what it took. And when I found it, it was just like, so the next person that shows me how to be like, on the level of say Shotgun Suge, Tay Rock, fucking on them. The next nigga that shows me how to do that, like, I'm taking it and I'm running with it, and I'm going as far as I can go with it, like, because that's what I'm looking for at this point. Like, I'm at the point where like I feel like I can compete with the niggas around me, but that's not the point. That's not the end game. Okay. Like, I'm trying to be the best in this motherfucker. Like, period.
So I want to get into that, and I just want to run down the recent work. For my own experiences, and I like to be honest about how I feel about artists and stuff like that, and my impressions and things I like and didn't like. Now, my first experience with you, because to me you came out of nowhere until I look back. But I saw you absolutely fucking destroy Fix, and I was like, okay, this nigga's nice. And so I see Fix, I see real name Brandon. Don Marino definitely changed things for me. You know what I mean? In terms of like, nah, like, this is some extra shit. Like, he can write, but the way that he's seamlessly going through these bars is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was a breath of fresh air to me, and I'm a backpack type nigga, you know what I mean? That's more into the lyrics. So you already had that. It was other things that I started to notice about you on the court that really fucked me up, bro. And we can talk about that. But the formidable battles that really, kind of that earned you your way into this slot, I feel like it's based on the fact that we see the potential. We see it. I don't know. Absolutely. It seemed like you kind of on some Isaiah Ryder shit though. Sometimes, like, bro, we know you can score 31. Why you got 15 points? What are you doing, bro? Right. What are you doing? And it's a nasty 15. You don't even be like, you already can play on the court. You ain't even tired. What the fuck going on? So, so I gotta address that, because I'm like, yo, he's nice, but the spaces, the not remembering. You fucked me up with that Reaper Rel. Shout out to Reaper. Reaper, that's my man's. And he was like, I'm gonna kill this nigga. I'm like, I don't know, Reaper. This nigga got some shit. I'm there. Yeah. And if they would have panned the camera to my face, bro, I was highly disappointed. Like, yo, what is going on? What's happening? Yeah. So let's go through some of the trials and tribulations, what you sort of learned from the Don Marino thing being a turning point, but we'll address some of the other criticisms. We'll be honest and upfront about it. The choking, the stopping, the not remembering, the misremembering, and things like that. Let's talk about it, Jay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'd say as far as like the from Fix to Don Marino, there was a certain mentality that I was keeping, and it was like something that I felt I had to accomplish. Like there was like so many people supporting me and so many people showing love and so many people waiting for me to get to that point.
Oh yeah.
Like to just have the PG, not necessarily to excel or nothing, like, but to just have those opportunities. And like when I was looking at those battles, it was in the mindset of like, you can't fuck up, you can't fail, there's no option, no, you don't have a choice, there's nothing. Like, and it that kind of mentality creates a certain clarity and a certain focus that like you can't distract. It's not possible to distract that kind of focus. But after Don Marino, the reception that I got from that kind of created sort of a complacency in my mentality.
Okay.
And so when I battled Riggs, that was the first URL battle that I choke in.
Right.
And it completely blindsided me because I didn't know how complacent I had been. And I didn't necessarily do what I needed to do in order to alleviate that. I didn't get to address it because soon after that battle, I got a little bit of static about it, but the battle never drops.
Right.
And on top of that, like not even a month later, the Northwest loses a very staple figure to police misuse of authority. I'll put it that way. And that pretty much reset my mentality to where I was with the fixed battles and the real name Brandons and the Don Marinos.
It made you
so
appreciate
when I battled,
this shit more, or what? That situation?
Nah, like there was a fire. Like there was an anger about the whole situation and just an anger in general about the way society works. And so when I battled Madface, the clarity was back, the focus was back. The way I was seeing it, like I was dedicating that battle to my lost friend. And so there was no fucking up. Once again, we were back in the line of fire where there's no fucking up. You're not about to dedicate this battle to your friend and then fuck this up. Like that's not gonna happen.
Right.
But then we're right back to square fucking one after the reception of that battle. And that's when Reaper Rail happens. Reaper Rail was also a battle that kind of got sprung on me, but that's not really, I can't use that as an excuse because I know that's not what caused the slip ups and the chokes. Like I know for a fact that ain't what it was. It was a certain complacency that still like didn't get fully addressed and didn't get mended.
Right.
So when it happened, that's when I was like, okay, you're really like you got 2 chokes under your belt now. That's not good. Like from where you're at in your position and your relationship with the URL, like that has to stop.
Right.
And so me and Emerson Kennedy happened a month after, and
boy, that battle was tough work. That battle was heavy work, and that's why I even get more mad at you. I get more fucking. I'm like, that's how you rap. I would have been the guy that you rap like that every time out. What the fuck? Boy, you was talking to that man. And shout out to Emerson too. He's probably the nicest battle rapper. Like a nice guy. Like and you let loose an entire clip on this nigga. I'm like, oh man. Like
I still got myself losing that battle, man. I really feel like he punched my fucking head off.
Yeah, he went
like,
crazy. He did, yeah. as he is wont to do. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, man. Like, cause I had designed my whole defense in order to be impenetrable, and it seemed like I didn't think that somebody would try and take the approach of going straight through the front door, like just punching their way through the front door. Like I figured people are gonna try and go around me or try and find a way, you know, to dig up from underneath me with like some sort of crazy angle, some shit. I wasn't expecting a nigga to just brute force try and, you know, like break my barriers, like, but that nigga like just went full fucking straight through the front door, like just punch after punch after punch. After his first round, I'm like, all right, well, at least I know that's his best round. Like, he ain't gonna be able to do that again. Second round, I'm just like, well, let's just make this debatable.
Yo, Jey the NiteWing might be one. This might be one of the most self-aware interviews I've had in a long time. I'm not gonna hold you because it's hard to get mad at a nigga that's like, nah. You hear what this nigga was saying? Like, you like, nah.
Yeah, man. Like,
let me just make this shit close. This nigga bugging.
For real, man. Like, this nigga is just on some. This nigga decided to go Super Saiyan today, and well, this is just gonna have to be one of those that I lose. Yeah. It was different. It was different too from the Chilla Jones experience, where like I knew I was gonna lose because it was like when I was standing in front of Emerson, it was like he was showing me a lot of shit that I wasn't sure I could even fucking do. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, God damn. Like, the only thing I can think of doing is like, I'm still not too sure. Like, I might be able to, like, you know, punch more, or like, I don't know, man. Like, Emerson scares me. Like, that nigga gives me fucking PTSD from that battle. Like, when I watch that battle, if I watch that battle, yeah. I'm only watching my rounds. Like, yeah. I ain't really fucking with his rounds too much. Like, I ain't trying to relive that shit. You got me fucked up.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Emerson Kennedy. That nigga probably like I don't know. Like, I imagine that he's probably on a yoga mat somewhere. Like, I don't know. Like a kufi on, like reading. You know what I mean? Like reading some fucking Langston Hughes novel or something. Like, I don't know. Shout out to Emerson, man. It's a whole different dude.
Yeah, man.
Now let's talk about. I want to do this. First of all, shout out to the whole society. Everybody sitting here listening to this. People are gonna hear this as well. We on right now with Jey the NiteWing. Real quick, before we get some people. I mean, there's people in here that want to say things and got questions and things like that. We'll get them in here, but I want to get into this tournament. And now that we understand a little bit about the background, the style, the influences that carry you on into this place, you're in a 16-man tournament with some of the best MCs in the goddamn country that haven't yet broke through. You on there with Fonz, you got Kruger, you got Don Marino. Shout out to Don, he's in the chat too. Shout out Brooklyn Hands, you got Ace Amin, who's already made a name for himself. Kid Chaos, it's just a lot of people. Yeah. And you in that first round versus Real Sick, who has won the UW tournament before, so he's used to the setting. I need to know why I need to pick Jey the NiteWing on it, because I see people that are like, yo, Jey, man, I'm telling you, he the one to watch, but I gotta go off a body of work, and you one of them niggas that lead up to that punch. It's a crazy punch, but you have a lead up to that motherfucker. This is the tournament setting. Lower clock times and all that shit is gonna factor in. Why should a fan of yours be confident going into the barbershop saying Jey the NiteWing is about to fuck everybody up in this tournament?
I'll be honest, man. I don't want you to be confident in me. That doesn't benefit me. I want you to feel like I gotta prove it, because that's what I'm telling myself is you just gotta get in there and prove it. The fans want 3 rounds from you. That's all they want. They just want 3 rounds from you. They want you to not fuck up. They want a great battle. They want to be entertained. That's what they want. But what do you want? I'm trying to win this shit. I'm trying to take it all. I'm not in it. I'm not in it just to compete. I'm not here to compete. That's not what I do. That's not my strong suit. I'm here to dominate. And in this battle with Real Sick, that is my only intention, is to completely dominate. Like, I ain't playing with this man at all. Y'all niggas done scared me too fucking much, telling me he's a problem and all this shit. So the way I'm looking at it is I'm about to have to stand in front of another Emerson Kennedy moment, and I'll be goddamn. Like, I'm not going out like that anymore. Like, period. Like, if I can help it, like, Real Sick is getting 120% Jey. Like, the Mad King. Like, I created this character because the Mad King fully represents that mentality of clarity where you just cannot fuck up. And that's all I'm ever going to be presenting from now on, is the Mad King. And I've never seen the Mad King lose. So if he is able to beat me at 120%, you guys got yourselves a motherfucking classic. I can guarantee you that. But as far as like putting your money on me, Don't do it. Let me prove it. Okay. Let me prove my worth. Put your money on me afterwards.
Okay. I think having Sick as opening round is a tough situation. I've heard, and this is shout out to Your Honor and Fonzie, we had him up here, Kruger as well. Shout out to Kruger too. We still want to get Kruger on and all that as well. But your side, they're saying your side of the bracket is not as crazy as this right side of the bracket. Like, what do you think about like who in your opinion is people kind of need to look out for? You know, out of these guys, who are you saying is like maybe the most dangerous guys, or probably gonna pose most of the threat? You know, not if it's not to you because you like, yo, fuck everybody, I get it, but to the tournament overall, who you think is gonna shake shit up? If you could name some names.
Oh, even though I'm still in this mentality, I would say there are still like names that worry me. Real Sick is definitely top priority on that list, for obvious reasons. I'd say second to him is Brooklyn Hands. A prepared Brooklyn Hands scares the shit out of me. Mainly because he's an individual that I feel like is not getting the right, like, he's not getting the right perception from people. People don't necessarily like the grit that he's able to portray while expressing his writing ability. Like, I don't think people are like really knowing what they're looking at when they see him battle. Like a fully prepped Brooklyn Hands in this setting, especially.
Yeah.
Oh, he's eating.
He's
eating everything. Yeah, and it's very hard to contend with because what can you do with him? Like, and especially like someone like me who's kind of used to towering over people. Like he's got size on me. So it's like not only is his writing ability kind of on par with me, maybe not punching ability. Maybe I could punch harder and get a harder reaction than he can. But as far as lyrical ability, we might be on the same wavelength. And he's got the size on me, so I can't just use that demeanor against him. Like, it's not going to work too much. You know, luckily it ain't going to work too much for him neither. But at the same time, these are obstacles that I'm not used to having to deal with. So for me personally, yeah, Brooklyn Hands is second priority for me.
Okay. You and Hands in the finals is a crazy finals. I think the way that this shit shakes out, you know, no matter what, no matter who makes it, it's going to end up being a dope situation. The Hands comment, I think, is very important because he has the ability to get the crowd by either the aesthetic or niggas that's listening, right? So,
absolutely.
Because his aesthetic alone, I've seen people just go crazy off of when he just in a nigga face
and have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Clue,
like, I have no hog sneezing. I ain't never heard a fucking hog sneeze. Like, yo, but that shit, the way he said it is like sound like a hog sneezing. Like, nigga, he got lock that nigga up. Call the police, bro.
Tactical grip on the butterfly with the extended mag on the shit, but he. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that shit is the shit nightmares are made of. Yeah, man, like that shit is fucking crazy, like for real.
Yeah. Nah, I respect that. I think, like I said, I think this tournament is going to really, you know, to me, it's a blessing that you guys have this. I think every group of PGs should have this because it's a separation thing. This is the best way to do it, and immediately when you see the names on the tournament, the battle rap fans, our heads just start to fucking click like, well, damn, I haven't seen too many Squeako battles. Let me go spin the block on him. Oh, big hand back. All right, cool. Let me go spin the block. You know what I mean? So are you ready for that extra microscope that's going to be on everything? You know, it's the nitpicking is going to happen. So are you
I hope I'm ready
for that?
I hope I'm ready because the way I'm preparing for it is kind of like simplifying everything, like to make sure that my focus is the same, and I'm hoping it's a plan that when executed works. You know what I mean? But these are untreaded terrains for me, so it's just gonna be one of those, like, you know, trial and error type situations for me, like, because I mean I can go off of, like, you know, past experiences. I could go off of other people's, like, you know, experiences who have been through this. I can take all the advice I want, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's got to walk down that motherfucker. And whether or not you ready, that's to be seen. I have a strategy, But whether or not it works, I mean, we'll all see.
All right. Yo, I'm looking forward to it. I wanna do this though, because I still got things I want to address, but I want to get some of the people on, some of the supporters in the society, people who've watched you and things like that, people with questions. All right. So I'm gonna start with my man Dapo, man. Shout out to Dapo and all that, man. Dapo, what up? You on with Jey the NiteWing? Dap, what's up?
Yeah. What's good? What's shaking Tone? Shaking Jay.
What up, bro? How you doing?
I ain't shit. Brooklyn shit. Army shit was shaking.
Brooklyn.
I'm saying.
Shout out Brooklyn.
I got a question, right? 2 questions. On some job shit, right? Where do you see yourself and your brand in 3 years? That's the first question. Second question is, who out of your class right now do you not see lasting past this tournament?
Ooh, great questions.
No humble shit, because you was real humble today. I respect it. No humble shit. Keep it 1,000.
I'm gonna have to. So with the first question, I see myself in 3 years having put out at least 3 books. That's a goal.
Oh wow!
And as far as battle rap goes, being on the level that Geechee Gotti is at. At the very least, like that's the goal that I'm going for. Can you repeat that second question so I can focus on that?
Who do you see in this like in your class right now? Who is not going to be around? Who's not going to make it past like this tournament or like this quarantine era? Like, who's not going to make it out of this era of battle rap?
Very difficult question to answer, and that's not even to be humble. It's because of an understanding that a lot of variables attribute to certain decisions like that as to why a person quits. If I was to just, the best thing I can do is make a lazy estimation, and I would say someone like Fonz isn't gonna last. Someone like Big Hand, also Bad News.
Wow.
Let's see.
Is that based on just is that what is that based? Is that based on marketability? What is that based on?
So with Fonz it's based on how he's recepted. And I think with the way he's recepted, if he doesn't come up with a different way to be recepted or to make it easier to be recepted, he's going to fall into the category of like other battlers who are great. They're acknowledged as being great battlers, but just aren't, seeing the success that, other great battlers.
So you think you're going to hit a ceiling and then basically like fizzle out?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this isn't really sincere thought. This is just me
on the
answering
spot.
Questions.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you. There's one more bar.
Brooklyn niggas never follow. Go ahead. They got 5 questions. Go ahead, man. Shout out to Flatbush. Go ahead.
Who do you want? Whose career do you want to end with your next battle after the tournament? Whose career do you want to end on a medium-sized stage, a nice Born Legacy stage? Who do you want to put in the grave? And it's out of respect, out of who, like, it could be someone you respect. Like, it don't got to be someone you don't like fancy or someone you think is trash. Like, who do you respect that much that you really want to take their head off? So I know you and Aces fly like that, and you had your battle. Calico. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Yeah, Calico. I feel like is an individual I would love to Like he just gives me
elaborate.
He just gives me a vibe about him.
Do tell
that like he hasn't really been contested. Like ever since Lux, like he's just kind of, he's had great performances and great moments. He's like respected on a certain level that I feel like he's taken to his head. And there's not really anything I can pinpoint per se to give me that is what gave me that impression. But nonetheless, the impression is there, and I wouldn't mind humbling a bit. As far as ending his career, like, I don't want that for nobody, but yeah, there's a few people.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking is what I'm hypothetically ending their career, Battle rap is forgiving because Adi Boom about to have a Jersey.
That man, that don't come up here with that bullshit, bro. That's a fact, Shout out to Brooklyn, man. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to my man Dap, the whole army, man. This Dap is
That nigga was trying. That nigga picked up the fucking ball and ran with it.
That's why I fuck with this shit, man. This culture got some of the best fucking supporters, man. Some of the coolest niggas, man. That's my man Dap.
Absolutely.
Now, even with that, see, I didn't peg you for a believability guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't peg. For some reason, the lyrical guys in my head don't care about like believability. I don't. That's a shitty way to go about it. But you like, yo, these niggas not living they shit, so I don't really fuck with it. You know what I mean? That's interesting to me.
To me, there's just a line that I got where, like, you know, you don't necessarily have to be the exact portrayal of what you're talking about, but at a certain extent, it kind of gets silly. Like, where it's just like, come on, bro, like, you doing all this shit, saying all these kinds of things, like being mad disrespectful, and you kind of saying things that, like, you know, outside the venue, if you get punched for saying shit like that, you turn into a fucking chicken. And it's like, dog, like, why set yourself up for that? Like, why put yourself in that kind of, at a certain extent, like, with no matter what I say, like, I'm fully understanding of the fact that, like, I might have to pay for some of those words. You know what I mean? Like, the chickens would come home to roost eventually if I am portraying a certain image that is not myself.
Right. And,
you know, to an extent, I exaggerate certain things. Like, I think I said in my last battle, like, something about getting shot. If the nigga tried to shoot me, like, I'd still break his jaw even if it hits me. Go home and let my lady stitch me. Bitch, I wouldn't even use my sick leave. I'm cut different. You know, like, but obviously that's a fucking exaggeration. Like, I ain't never been shot.
Wouldn't use my sick leave is crazy. Like, what?
When I thought of it, I was like, yo, that's just crazy. But, like, I understand that, like, when I'm saying that, ain't nobody really thinking about shooting me just to see if that's what happens. Like, I mean, I can kind of see it, like, you know, me getting shot randomly and then some troll on Twitter like, hey, but did he still show up for work, nigga? Like, you know, just to, like, make the joke. But I really don't like exaggerate in a way that's, like, so far beyond the truth of who I actually am that I wouldn't be willing to, like, account for it. But a lot of like, because I feel like when you brought this to me, like, you were talking about when I was talking about the grind time era. I felt like at that point in time, a lot of niggas was just saying shit and trying to be something that they absolutely are not, like, are the farthest thing from. And, like, it was just bothering me at that time. True. And, you know, I was still kind of, like, you know, on some young-minded shit.
Well,
like,
that's the era we grew up in, bro. The mixtape era, the late 90s, early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people who was outside saying what they had to say. You couldn't say certain shit if you wasn't cut a certain way. That's how we all grew up. Somehow it changed. Like, but then, and I remember grind time where you see, like, and no, it's not a racial thing. I know people outside, but you see two white kids, backpacks on with fucking Vans and high socks and shorts and skateboards on, talk about they about to shoot each other in the face. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of like,
I can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I meant. Like, it kind of introduced that. It introduced a lot of other great things, though. But I didn't give those things credit until I became a fan again, like a dedicated fan again. I was watching, you know, how the game developed. Like, but in the moment, you know, I'm looking at pretty much the negatives. And, you know, I don't really attribute it to a race thing. It's more of a cultural thing. Like, in American culture, there are certain things and understandings and upbringings that we can all understand, even if it's outside of our culture. Like, I can look at you and kind of, you know, from a certain standpoint, assess what you may have experienced that is like what I have experienced and what might not be the same, and, you know, a whole umbrella, like, above that. But so when you see two white kids rapping about, like, shoot each other and they sell all kinds of drugs and they'll fuck your bitch for a pack, you know, all that shit, it's like, all right, man, like, you know, I get it. Like, you rapping, You know, you're trying to beat your opponent. I get all that, but it gets silly to a certain point because we know from a certain extent like that you're exaggerating to a point that's beyond. That's basically just it's just complete fiction at that point.
Right.
And that's not where battle rap started, and we're not trying to fucking trail so fucking far away from the path that we lose the breadcrumbs. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
At least me personally, that's the way I was looking at it.
I hear you on that. You still wanna have some tie back to the essence what this shit is really about, and never lose sight of the fact that this shit started in the streets. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the part as a fan that disconnects me. I'm like, this shit gotta still have a tie-in to where the shit started. For me, maybe that's some older shit, but that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
But as it is right now. Mm-hmm. It kind of like changed the way I look at it a little bit because now it's kind of like a show. Like it's more entertainment than it ever was before. Like we are like paid entertainers at a certain point, like more so than we are like that individual that is representing where he is from and trying to like make a certain voice for a certain, you know, block that he's from. You know what I mean? Like it's less that and more like entertainment. Like what are you doing for me, the person that is waiting to be entertained? Like how much are you entertaining me? Because if I don't give a fuck about you, if you ain't making me like jump up and shit, like react. Remember, there was a time, when crowd reactions was annoying.
Yeah.
We hated that shit.
Yeah.
We're like, man, them niggas is gassing.
Let these niggas do it. Yeah. Now
it's like a must. If you ain't making the crowd react, you boring.
Right.
Like you fucking trash. Like, and so as the game shifts, like I've just learned to like understand why it has shifted and understand that there's no way. It doesn't necessarily have to go so far as to like lose the breadcrumbs, but there is no way you can avoid the chain.
Right. Because it's still going to evolve. And that whole like, hey, man, I don't give a fuck if that nigga lost 2-1. The homie over here was just nice. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You still have to account for that factor. That's a fact.
Because it is what it is at the end of the day. It's like people going to like what they like, and new people going to come in to the community with new eyes as to how shit should be done. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that we can do about that.
So let me do this real quick. I wanna take it to the Midwest real quick and get my man Boomer on. You know what I'm saying? And just to speak his piece and all that. Boomer, what up?
Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Let's talk.
What's good, man? Shout out Tom. What's good, Jay? Yo, y'all can hear me. It's raining like a motherfucker out
here.
Nah,
100%, man. We can hear you. We got you. Go ahead.
Jay, I got a question because it sounds like you appreciate culture to a certain extent in battle rap.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you fuck with, believability as well. I'm a part of believability gang myself. What you think about like these Sharon ass niggas like in battle rap, like like niggas like Sharon and these Ron ass niggas and these KOTD white boy ass niggas and Pat Stay ass niggas and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause see, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, I guess it's popular belief in the culture that Sharon beat Tay Rock, like people like Tay Rock, people like Nitty, shit like that. But my thing is, it's like, it ain't even a simple fact that the nigga's white, because we are, it's white people that grow up in the hood or do certain shit that we do. But it's like, when I look at Sharon, it's like, come on, man. Like, y'all niggas gotta be playing games. Like, y'all, how can he actually win a fucking battle against Tay Rock?
Yo, man.
Like, no, see, dead ass though. Like, so do you kind of like view those battles like the same? Like this nigga saying all this dumb shit. Like, this nigga's not, like, come on, man, look at this kid, man. Like he looks like one of them white boys that got picked on in school. Like where did this pick up the tool and like, stop it. Like, what's your thoughts on that, man?
I think those kinds of individuals and rappers were like what I really took up issue with in the grind time era. But as I've come to like understand the game the way I've understood it, I basically see them as necessary for the sport. Not my cup of tea. I don't watch Sharon battles. I don't watch Rome battles. I've never watched
Facts.
Sharon battles.
Facts.
But they create ripples in the culture that I feel are necessary for its growth. So I can respect them for their contributions to the culture, but I'm not. It doesn't. They don't necessarily do anything for me as a fan.
Okay. I got one more question.
Ability wise, Sharon's like freestyle ability, his ability to rebuttal is like phenomenal. I definitely like, took some pointers from him in that regard. Like, but if we going into like, content, yeah, he kind of falls into the category of people that I think hinder themselves from the greatness they could achieve by sacrificing their believability to exaggerate and use witty lines. You know what I mean? Like, because I think there's a big thing about that. Like, it's just better when it's more. Your material is just better when it's more like tailored to who you are, because it's easier. Right. It's easier to come up with. It comes out more like original. Like, it comes out more believable. Like, everything, it hits more precisely when you can tell like it's coming from like a sincere place. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I feel that. I'm gonna get up off here, but I do got one more question. Because I got to keep it a thigh while. So early on in your career, I was fucking with you tough, right? So I'm like, I'm telling niggas like, yo, I fuck with Jey the NiteWing. Like he got some shit. Now my question to you is, and you still got bars. Don't get it fucked up. But my question to you is the choking issue. So what goes into? Because sometimes it's just preparation, and nigga be like, shit, I didn't prepare, or it could be other variables. Like in your career, as of over the past year and a half, we've seen you choking in a few battles. What did you contribute that to? Was it the opponent, the moment, just lack of preparation, or just natural shit? Niggas fuck up.
I feel like all of the reasons / excuses, like they all fall under the umbrella of preparation. But what I didn't prepare is kind of like it's specific to each battle. Like the reason specifically to each battle is different, but it all falls under the umbrella of preparation. Like with Ace it was a pressure thing. Like it was like I wasn't really ready for the kind of like historic moment that I thought I was gonna have. Like I wasn't ready for that to hit me while I was fucking rapping. Like in the fucking first round, I'm like fighting through like this like idea that I'm about to make fucking history. This is gonna be great. Like, all this shit. Like I wasn't expecting to have that kind of moment right there on the fucking stage. And with Reaper, it was a matter of preparation, like as far as like just memorizing shit. And with Riggs, it was just not mentally preparing like for the complacency that I was experiencing. And
cause I ain't gonna lie, Don Marino in the chat, but you beat the shit out of that nigga Don Marino. So when I saw that battle,
John,
shout out to Don, man. Shout out to MIA 305, man. He got his ass smoked. So when I seen that battle, I'm like, yo, this nigga Jey the NiteWing finna be one of them niggas.
I love that. Like, I swear to God, I do.
Like one of them, straight up, like he finna be one of them ones. And then, like I said, after that, it was kind of like, damn. But no, I fuck with you, man. I'm gonna get up off here, man. You got bars and shit, man. Best of luck to you, man, for real. I appreciate you, Tone, for letting me up on here, man. Y'all be good.
Man. No doubt, man. Shout out to my nigga Boom, man. Word.
Shout out to Boom, man. Shout out to Midwest, man.
That's
like,
a fact.
Shout out to Don Marino too, man. We was just talking last night. We was just talking last night, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I feel like niggas don't like me." And I was like, first of all, don't say niggas, and then secondly, nah, I'm fucking.
Yo, Jay, we gotta open up a shirt business that says, "First of all, don't say nigga." Like we gotta just ... First of all, don't say nigga ... Right. Like that's the t-shirt.
Yeah, that's a fact. That shit'll sell like a motherfucker.
Oh my god. Oh man. But the whole not liking you thing, fickle. Who gives a fuck? You think Ted DiBiase cared if you niggas didn't like him? Who cares?
That's the thing, man. Like that was just a conversation I made up. But how it actually goes is like he feels like the culture as a whole like has him as the underdog, like, and it's just been that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like they always got me losing and shit. I'm like, bro, like as long as you taking that as a power source, like, cause honestly I envy that. You know what I mean? Like with niggas like having me like as the victor, like as some kind of dominant figure in battle rap, like it makes it harder for me to remind myself that you got something to prove to yourself and to like, you know, the people that support you. So when everybody's just got you constantly at the underdog category, like there's nothing but room to grow. There's nothing. There's the only thing you can do is like lose the hunger to prove them wrong, and it's really hard to lose that hunger when you're a battle rapper, right? Like, because that's all you're thinking about is proving niggas wrong. For me, it's like I'm not in a position where I feel like I gotta necessarily prove niggas wrong. I just gotta, because niggas all see like I got the potential. Nobody like is denying that I'm dope. It's just they want me to prove it.
Right.
They want me to prove that they want to see that potential. They want to see it reach. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's more. I won't necessarily say that there's less work for him to do than it is for me, but it just, for me personally, is easier to transcend when I'm being doubted. And you know, I expressed that to him, and he's just like, you know, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think niggas fuck with me. And I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna tell you again about niggas. You gotta. I'm hanging up this phone.
Hey Jay, before we wrap it up here, I gotta see. Listen, and shout out to the whole society because we got our own internal strife here, right? One thing we've been doing is like song battles, catalog battles, back and forth, and shit like that. Now there was a East Coast versus West Coast type battle that took place, and
shit.
Somebody played Snoop Dogg, Gin and Juice. And another person played Allure by Jay-Z in this group. And more people voted that Allure was a better song than Gin and Juice. What is your stance on that, since everyone would like to know?
The very first thing that comes to mind is, how come people don't know Allure the way they know Gin and Juice if it's better? That's the very first thing that comes to my mind. It's like, why was Gin and Juice so popular and Allure wasn't if it was better? And the second thing that comes to mind is there's a plethora of other Jay-Z places. Like, you could have used fucking what's that shit? 99 Problems.
Right.
And you'd have had a much better argument.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Allure was a good song, but like for the inside Hove fans, you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's for the real connoisseurs of Hove, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but
I mean that's like one of those like questions where it's like, who is the better fighter between Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee? It's like, yeah, Bruce Lee, like, you know, we can kind of see like how, to us, like, you know, who are inside watching all the movies and all that shit, you know, we can see like how Bruce Lee might be able to beat Muhammad Ali, and you know, he's a great like martial artist.
Right.
But Muhammad Ali is proven and tested and weathered, and you know, he's done it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where I'd have to go to find Bruce Lee actually fighting somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's kind of like Bruce Lee would be the Allure, and Muhammad Ali would be fucking Gin and Juice.
CJ, you welcomed up here anytime just for that. You would have saved a lot of strife. That has now become a legend within this group. Allure. That you on that Allure shit. Like, people like it's becoming a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate
That's
that
hilarious.
perspective, bro. And before we get up out of here, I want to get announcements and I want to get social media, how people can follow you and things like that, and interact and everything online. Because I see you online and stuff. So any projects and can you drop the social media for the people?
Yeah, I got you. So on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jey the NiteWing. And on Facebook, I don't really be on Facebook too much these days, but if you're looking for me on Facebook, it's Jehovah King. And the reason it's that is because some fucking hater reported my Jey the NiteWing name, and I had to change that shit. But yeah, so it's Jehovah King on Facebook, and Instagram and Twitter is at Jey the NiteWing. And as far as announcements goes, there's been some changes.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
There's been some changes with this Ultimate Madness tournament.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm not at liberty to say what the changes are because they want to tell you first. But yeah, the tables have definitely turned in my direction.
Ooh, the tables have turned in my direction. Is that the clue that we
Yep.
I'm scratching.
And when you hear there's multiple changes that have happened. But there's one change that when you hear that one, you'll know why. You'll know why the advantage is in my corner now.
Okay, 100%. I got you. I'm gonna look out for that, bro. Definitely am, and I appreciate you coming up here and being honest, humble. I think a lot of people able to kind of understand a little bit about the Jey the NiteWing sauce a little bit more. You know what I mean? And you was able to shed light on that. I think that's important, and continue to talk because you're articulate. You know what the hell you're talking about. And you're self-aware, which is a very underrated quality in battle rap. So, you know.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I'ma still fuck with you though when you do that. Don't do that bullshit. These long pause. We done with the interview. We could be cool now and shit. We established a rapport. That long pause and shit, and it's like I don't want. I'm judging Jey. I am. I'm fair. All 16 of you brothers deserve to fucking be the main guy. You got to show and prove. I'm gonna be fair, but I don't want none of this. Long part. Like I don't need none of that shit, bro. Backpack on, none of that. Jey, I'm saying as a fan. You know what I mean? Like,
let me say this to the fans that want that Jey. You're gonna have to wait till after the tournament. Because that Jey is gonna have to sit on the bench for a little bit.
Okay.
This Mad King nigga is different.
Mad King. All right, different focus, man. Yo, Jey, I appreciate you giving us your time up here and, you know what I mean, talking to the people, especially in the society. You definitely welcomed up here. We'll probably jump in the other room and chop it up a little bit after this with the whole society. All of us, we talking here all the time. More than welcome to do that with us as well. This will be up for the people, man, so I appreciate your time and your energy.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to Black Compass Media, man. Thanks for everything.
Oh, man, no doubt. Hey, until then, man, stay safe, man. Wash your hands, nigga. Yeah, do all
Absolutely,
all
man. Yeah, masked up.
Yeah.
Shit.
Purell, I don't know. Anyway, we up out of here, Jey. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, for sure, Brody.
No doubt, man. Yo, shout out to everybody that's out there right now. Black Compass Media. This has been Jey the NiteWing, Road to Ultimate Madness. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that shed a little bit of light on Jey the NiteWing, his story, you know what I mean, what he's trying to bring in the battle rap. And he captured a lot of the criticisms that, you know, some of us had, you know, after watching some of the work, some of the battles and everything. I think that this definitely changes my perspective on the tournament. You know what I mean? He is in here focused and trying to give us something new that we haven't seen before. So I respect that. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Seattle. Shout out to Washington. Shout out to Federal Way. Shout out to everybody that's out there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's our people out there too, man. And definitely shout out to the Usos. Shout out to the brothers, man. Shout out to Samoans, man. Everybody from that part of the world too. We love y'all too, man. This is hip hop shit, man. It's for everybody. Heard me? So, and I'm stealing slang from different places too. You heard me? I might say John and you heard me in the same sentence. I ain't from neither place. All right? Black Compass Media. Tone, bro. We up out of here. Peace.